Hi. Um, if you are somebody who has very strong blind faith in your religion and you are from one of the Abrahamic religions, you might not want to watch this video. I keep hearing and seeing variations of this statement. You cannot be an adherent of this religion and be of this political stance too. They are mutually exclusive. This is such a painfully obvious lie that I find it hard to believe that the people who are spreading it actually believe it, just like the other big political lie, the lesser of two evils. In a country where there are over 420 registered political parties, but numerous lies and laws that suppress all but the two major parties. Now, you may say, well, what about the Tea Party? Well, the Tea Party is just another flavor of republicanism. Sorry. Uh, except for the people who know it's a lie and are saying it to manipulate people to switch to their political religious viewpoint or to get them to, vote the way they want to vote or whatever. You can tell which group is wrong by evaluating each position based on hate versus tolerance and their holy scripture. I am focusing on the Abrahamic religions because the Christians and Zionist Jews are the ones trying to dominate the country and are using Islam as the all too convenient target. This is not to say that I approve of Islam any more than the other two, merely that Islam is being scapegoated while the millennia of crimes of the Jews and Christians are being swept under the rug, right up to the current moment. The religious information is almost entirely from the holy scriptures of each religion, as I said. Now, in order to attempt to be respectful to the two sides, I've used the terms left, my left, and right, my right, which means something very different than they did when I was born, rather than other more specific terms. None of the statements are meant to be blanket representations of that side's stance, but rather a general statement that you tend to find from political figures. You may not personally agree with how your side is characterized. If that is the case, then I welcome you to politely state your personal conviction along with your side and your religion. Zionist Jew is disputed. There are rabbis who have repudiated the belief that Zionists are Jews. Since the overthrow of the Boone Party by the Zionist Party, including abuse and murder of Boone Jews, Zionism has taken over more and more of Judaism with its Nazi esque belief system. Zionists even allied with Hitler during World War II to advance their own goals. They weren't friends, they were just like frenemies, or the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. So if you have to fight the aliens or the predators, you're going to fight the aliens with the predators and then get rid of the predators because the aliens are admittedly not as smart, but they're more dangerous. So during the debate in the UK over whether to create Israel via the Balfour Declaration, this was all in World War II, the only Jew in Parliament, Edwin Montagu, stood against it. That should tell you something. And also in modern times, there are many Jews that are opposed to what the Zionist people of Israel are doing to the Palestinians. And there are also many that are happy with it. In order to present the following information about the three religions, I have consulted the Jewish Tanakh and Talmud, the Christian Bible, and the Islamic Quran, Hadith, and Sunnah. Now, on gender equality, the right side tends to believe that women are inferior to men in some way. Um, this is fairly universal, whereas fewer believe that they should be chattel property and should be barefoot and pregnant at home. Also, while some say that they shouldn't have the vote or be educated, others don't agree with that. Note that the same people who have this position simultaneously and hypocritically condemn anyone from a different religion from having the same viewpoint. I have actually observed that.
Thanks for watching. I need to ask for your help. On December 11th, 2024, Amazon fired me under false pretenses, and the 17th, I had surgery for the injury that occurred at Amazon that Amazon and Sedgwick refused to take responsibility for. I'm unemployed, so my financial situation is a bit of a problem right now. If you would like to help me, there are some things you can do. Number one, you can like, subscribe, share, comment, and turn on notifications on my channels. Number two, if you'd like to give a one-time donation, and please don't do this if you can't afford it, you can, on the Glenn's Fast Reviews channel, do a super thanks. Number three, if you would like to help me on a monthly basis, you can become a member on Glenn's Fast Reviews, or you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII and become a member there. Thank you so much for your support.
In Christianity, men and women have different roles in a patriarchal society. Paul instructs wives to submit to their husbands as to God, Ephesians 5:22, and women cannot teach or assume authority over a man, 1 Timothy 2:12, directly contradicting the ministry of Jesus. These views are largely still upheld by complementarians such as Catholics, Orthodox, and evangelical churches, despite not being what Jesus said and did. Some Christian sects place women in a secondary role and that they must submit to their husbands. In Judaism, in the Torah, Numbers 27, giving inheritances to male, unless there is no male heir, is what happens. Women don't get it unless there are no men. Orthodox Jews, especially in Orthodox cults, which are generally very abusive, follow the Talmud, and thus women are inferior. However, the Torah reflects a heavily patriarchal society. In some respects, the Talmud restricts what women can do because it prioritizes their role as being responsible for the home and family. Plus, it also makes them ineligible to serve as legal witnesses in a rabbinic court. Rosh Hashanah 22a. A woman cannot get a divorce without her husband's consent, and the same things that help women, positive time-bound commandments like Kedushin 29a, keep women out of communal and leadership spaces like the synagogue. In Islam gives the largest shares of an inheritance to men and smaller shares to women. In that respect, it is somewhat similar to Judaism. In Islam, men and women have different roles in a patriarchal society. For standard financial contracts, the testimony of one man equals that of two women. Surah al-Baqarah 282. And daughters get half the inheritance that sons get. Surah An-Nisa 4:11. So on the left side, in general, people believe that everyone is equal. This is not universal again, but it does tend to be that way on the left. In Christianity, this is supported by the Bible, depending on which version you look at. Some versions have been subtly edited so that it looks like men are superior, but original versions don't have that change. However, this depends on which part of the New Testament you look at, such as Galatians 3:28, Luke 10:38-42, which support it. The egalitarian churches, mostly mainline Protestant churches, believe that those cultural restrictions don't apply. In Judaism, in the Torah and Talmud, women are revered as having superior wisdom, Genesis 1:27 and 21:12, and are even elevated as being the main reason Jews were redeemed from Egypt due to the merit of righteous women, Sotah 11b. Conservative, Reform, and Reconstructionist Jews practice equality. In Islam, Maryam, the mother of Isa, or obviously Mary, Isa is Jesus, is the only woman revered by name in the Quran. In Islam and Christianity, women and men are viewed as spiritually equal. Islam says women and men are spiritually equal in Surah Al-Ahzab 33:35. The Quran grants women the unconditional rights to own, inherit, and manage property independently of their husbands and fathers, Surah An-Nisa 4:7 and 4:32, which Christian women didn't get, I should say, until the 19th century, at least in America, if not elsewhere. Interestingly, men are the caretakers of women and are required to financially support their family, while women do not have to spend their wealth on their household. Surah An-Nisa 4:34. which is an interesting contrast to the other two. So as you can see, the all three of the religions have things about them that are both gender unequal and things that are gender equal. It kind of depends on where you look in these religions, and which sect you're looking at in many cases also has an impact on how much equality there is. So I hope this has helped you to understand the differences. Thanks for watching and have a great day.